Vicenza is a town in the Veneto region of Italy. It is a town with a population of 110,000. There has been a settlement here right back into the depths of history, and remains of the Roman town can still be seen. Later, after the barbarian invasions which repeatedly devastated this part of Italy, it became a significant town, ruled at different times by various greater powers. For several centuries it was governed by Venice, and then Napoleon, and then Austrians. In 1866 it became part of a new kingdom of Italy. Vicenza was a prosperous town under Venetian rule, and its pride was demonstrated in fine architecture, much of which still survives. It is a unique appearance, largely owing to the work of influential 16th century architect Andrea Palladio, and it has led to the town's designation as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, City of Vicenza and the Palladian villas of the Veneto. After Paladio, Vicenza is most famous for its trade in precious metals and is also known as the City of Gold. It is a lovely town to visit, with a beautiful compact town center and attractive villas and viewpoints in the hills a short walk away. And the most of Vicenza's attractions are clustered closely together inside the old town walls. We came to Vicenza by train from main railway station in Venice, Santa Lucia, and it was a pleasant 1-hour ride, and it will cost you in one direction €6. Easy walk from Vicenza railway station by Viale Roma will soon take you to the old town gate, Porta Castello, and it is the entrance to the old city of Vicenza. Here you can see Vicenza Cathedral that was completed in the 16th century. The original cupola and likely the north entrance to the cathedral were designed by Paladio. Most of the cathedral was destroyed in bombing during World War II and has since been rebuilt, so it looks somewhat new. The exterior is impressive with a beautiful Gothic facade that survived the bombing. Interior is amazing. It contains many beautiful chapels, including one that features one of Bartolomeo Montagna's Madonnas. There is also a chapel of Thiene family, and Thiene family is a famous family in the Veneto region. There is a city of Thiene. I'll strongly recommend you to visit Thiene. It is a small city, and you can see video about Thiene on our channel. There are also several chapels in this church, and church is dedicated to the Annunciation of Virgine Mary. Around Vicenza you can admire many grand buildings by Palladio and his followers. The Italian word Palazzo usually means any large building rather than a palace, but many of Vicenza's palazzi do merit the grander translation. Some of the town's buildings are medieval, with several in the Venetian Gothic style, but the majority date from the 16th and the 17th centuries. They line the narrow lines of Vicenza's town center, which are called contra, a local word for street. In front of you is Corso Andrea Palladio, the center's main walking street, lined with smart shops and cafes. Some of Vicenza's grandest palaces lie on Contra Porti, off to the left. Piazza dei Signori, a few yards south of Corso Andrea Palladio, is the heart of town. It is dominated by two of Vicenza's most striking landmarks. The Basilica Paladiana is the first one. It's the town's medieval law courts with the imposing later facade by Palladio, and adjacent Torre di Piazza, a tall and skinny tower. Just nearby tower is Vicenza's tourist information offices, where you can pick up a town map and get any information you need about local events and attractions. A second office is located not far away by the Teatro Olimpico. Here you can see monument of Paladio, but I'm not sure if it is designed by Paladio himself or by some of his students. As you can see, Basilica Paladiana is not the only palace at the amazing square of Piazza del Signori. In translation it means Square of Lords. Basilica Paladiana was originally 15th century building built in the Gothic style, and Palladio was chosen to rebuild the structure. It was his first commission and the first example of Palladian window. Palladio designed the new loggias in white marble to create the gorgeous Renaissance basilica we see today. Work on the basilica started in 1549 but was only completed in 1640, 30 years after Palladio's death. Basilica actually originally meant a Roman public building used as a court or for other official purposes, so this basilica have never been used in some religious way. With its aqua roof and facade, Basilica Paladiana should be at the top of your Vicenza sightseeings. We came to Vicenza just for the short afternoon trip, but there are so many palaces and museums in Vicenza, and so maybe it is a good idea to have some guided tours to have a better view on amazing cultural heritage of this beautiful city. The only thing I can say didn't like, it's just my observation about Vicenza, is that the streets are too narrow, and so you cannot see all of these palaces in its beauty. There is much easier to see the palaces in Venice when you travel along a Grand Canal or sitting along on the big squares, and I think that the owners of palaces in Venice competed and they wanted their palaces to be seen. Here in Vicenza you can see it from one side and then you have to walk around to see the other, and definitely the streets should be more wider if I have right to tell anything against Paladino and his work. One of Vicenza's most visited historic sites, the Olympic Theatre, was built in the late 16th century and it was not completed until after Palladio's death. Performances are still held in the theatre, one of only 3 Renaissance theatres still standing. Palladio fit the theatre into an existing old fortress at the site, although he is said to have designed a 3-dimensional stage. It was his successor, Vincenzo Scamozzi, who actually built the gorgeous stage with the street views and the painted sky in the ceiling that you can see today. The Palazzo Chiericati, another one of Palladio's masterpieces in Vicenza, is home to the Civic Museum. It is a handsome 2-story Renaissance building. Built in 13th century, the Chiesa di Santo Corona features a simple facade with a rose window and a gorgeous Gothic interior. Inside you'll see many paintings and sculptures created by famous Italian masters. The most significant work is Giovanni Bellini's Baptism of Christ, which is displayed in an ornate altar. Also look for Adoration of the Magi by Veronese. The design of the Valmarana chapel in the church is attributed to the Palladio, and the architect is buried here as well. Vicenza's main square, the Piazza dei Signori, is both gorgeous and impressive. A long piazza lined with the beautiful buildings, cafes and restaurants is a great spot for people watching or just relaxing for a bit with a drink. At the bottom of the square you'll see two columns which reminds you on Piazzetta di San Marco in Venice. Here in Vicenza one column is topped by the Venetian winged lion, similar to the Venetian Plaza, but the other one is topped by a statue of Christ the Redeemer. And as I said, there is also a statue of Paladio on the beginning of the square. The Palazzo di Capitanio was a seat of the highest authority of Venetian Republic in Vicenza. Bissara Tower was built in the 20th century by the Bissara family and raised to the present level in the 15th century. There are 5 bells in the tower and they chime the hour and the half hour, but also play special melody twice each day. You can't go inside the tower or climb to the top. Vicenza's historical center houses 23 buildings by Paladio, and if you wish to see all of them you can stop by the tourist information center and pick up a map. But even without a purpose, Vicenza's Centro Storico makes for pleasant wandering with narrow streets and colorful facades. It is not very large, so you can cover quite a bit in an hour or two. As I said, there are so many gorgeous buildings in Vicenza. There is also the Paladio Museum, which displays many of the architect's original drawings as well as his books. It is housed in the gorgeous Palazzo Barberano. There you can see technologies he used to design La Rotonda and other buildings and scale models. You'll also see and hear experts talk about Palladio's work via video projections. And the museum is worth visiting to get a deeper understanding of the man that shaped much of the city's architecture. And the building itself is the only one Palladio saw completed and decorated in his lifetime, and contains some lovely frescoes by Tiepolo. Here you can see Cathedral of Vicenza from the backside. Just behind the Piazza del Signore is Piazza dell'Erbe. It is a relaxed place with many restaurants and bars. People are sitting outside and enjoying, and it's a very good place to relax. There are two rivers flowing through the city of Vicenza, and you can enjoy walks along these waterways. There are several small but beautiful bridges across those rivers. A little outside the historical center of Vicenza is Villa Almerico Capra, also known as La Rotonda. It was designed by Paladio for Bishop Paolo Almerico in late 16th century. Both the architect and the client died before the villa was complete. Said to have inspired the portico design of the White House and the Jefferson's Monticello, La Rotonda is the most famous of Palladio's villas. Just a short walk from La Rotonda you'll find another beautiful villa open to the public. The Villa Valmarana is actually a complex of 3 buildings, and the gardens are absolutely gorgeous. The Church of St. Mary of Monte Borico sits on a hilltop outside Vicenza. From Piazzale della Vittoria in front of the church, you get panoramic views of the rooftops of Vicenza and the surrounding countryside. It was a quite challenging walk of about 3 kilometers up the hill, but you can come there also by car, and I think you can come there also by buses. We did it by our own, by walk. It's a little bit complicated as Monte Borico is on the opposite side of the old city, In the middle is a railway station, so when you take off from your train, you can choose to go to the center of the city or to go to the Monte Borico. And maybe better solution is to go to the center of the city and then come back to the railway station and then take a walk up the hill and then again come back to the railway station. If you're in good shape, it's not so too much difficult. But the view is amazing, so I think you must go up and visit it. Thank you for watching. Please, if you can, like, subscribe, give a comment, and it will help us to maintain this channel.